Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Today I have two lovely offcuts from some projects that I've been working on, and I've kept them in a plastic bag so they've still retained their moisture. So I have a piece of walnut heartwood, this deep brown tone wood, and in this piece I have the other half, which is a piece of the walnut sapwood. And my idea is to make a little lidded pot with a contrasting lid that will sit on top. You know, it kind of resembles some sort of acorn or conker or apple shape. As always, I'm going to silently carve and invite you into my process and hope that you can take something away from it. So let's get to it. And that is as far as I am going to go today. I'm really happy with the cup. In my mind I'm thinking I could fill it with tea and then have a little hat on top to keep it warm. And then the last little splits at the ends there, I'm going to choose one of them to make a little stalk from, so I can take off the lid quite easily. Now there's no point in me refining the top lid just yet because it needs to all dry, and I don't know how much the drying process is going to warp or change things. So I've left a little bias on the lid so I can finally sculpt it to fit around that dancing lip. We're in for quite a hot spell and I want to dry these items slowly. If they dry too fast they might be prone to cracking. So to do so I'm going to place them all into this tote bag, and inside this tote bag is wood chips, and I'm going to bundle that up and put it somewhere cool and dry in the home. And I'm going to choose either the garage or the basement where I know that the heat of the day isn't going to get through to those areas. Now before I do, I'm going to use some cordage that I made last year to keep these intact, so that if one of them starts warping dramatically, hopefully the other will kind of keep it in place so that they'll maintain some sort of closed relationship together. Now it's quite interesting because I started off this project thinking that it's going to be a little pot to keep trinkets in, and shamelessly I collect apple pips. I know people collect weird things, especially artists sometimes, but my weird thing is apple pips and I love collecting them. So that was in my head at the beginning, but the more I started making, the more I started unravelling that hollow. I kind of wanted just a drink out of it. It was quite an inviting shape for a cup. It's interesting how projects, when you think you've got a concept in mind, they can change and alter. So there's my little bundle, and I'm hoping that will dry nicely in the tote bag. I'm going to wait a week at this time of year in the summer. In the winter I'd wait 2 weeks. You're going to have to wait about 5 seconds on screen. So you'll see immediately how this turns out, but I'm quite confident. Walnut's fairly reliable. So I'll come back in a week on this axe block and we'll see how it looks. So I'll see you in about 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. I am back. Now, admittedly that was a lot longer. I've been extremely busy with a huge project that's going to be launching soon, and also with some new workshop renovations which I'm sure you'll see in future videos. But here I am, back a couple of months later to finally finish this wonderful piece. So I haven't touched it at all in that time. It's been sat in a cupboard in the garage. So let's take a look and unravel this piece and see how it dried. Great, so I am really happy with that. It's dried really well. I can see that the lid needs a little bit of work to have it just sit around the bow, if you like, of that top lip. But it's not going to be too hard to get it to sit flat at all. I love how much of like a conker shape it's already becoming. I love that I've taken a step back from it actually. I've got such a fresh pair of eyes to take to this now. The inside hollow is really clean, and the outside too is a very uniform shape, but it does need some refining. So I'm going to spend a few hours to just meditate with my tools and apply some finishing cuts and work out how this thing sits. So I'm going to get to it and find a flow state and stay there for a little while. What a joyful thing this is becoming. I'm not finished yet. I am going to seal the bottom vessel with a tree sap derived lacquer using Urushi methods. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to begin a set of 5 coats. I'll do 1 per evening and then I will be waiting for maybe 2 weeks for it to cure before I can test it. The lid, I'm just going to use some linseed oil so I get a big contrast in between the cup and the lid. For you this will take about 5 seconds when I disappear from this section, but for me I've got another about 3 weeks until I can finally reveal this to you, and I'm already so excited. But I'm gonna save myself for a proper outro once we can see the final outcome. But I really enjoyed those finishing cuts, and I felt like I really needed that meditation. It's been quite a busy summer so far, and it's a great way to stop and pause and be present with myself and with my making. It's also my birthday tomorrow, and it's quite a melancholic kind of time for me. So making today was very important. So I will see you in about 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. What a wonderful journey that's been, from the beginning initial working with the wet wood to the drying to the finishing cuts and to the lacquer and the oiling, and now to the final product. The effect that I wanted from the heartwood and the sapwood from this black walnut really worked. It's such a beautiful contrast, and I'm so happy that I just oiled the top and then lacquered the underneath to enhance that juxtaposition, that contrast. It's so striking as an object to look at and to use and to hold. This is one of those moments in craft where you can kind of reflect on your practice and your making journey for the X amount of time that it's been happening, and you reach an outcome and you just feel this wonderful sense of pride, this release of energy that I'm feeling now. It's so warm and it's so fulfilling, and I already just can't wait to get stuck into the next piece. The lid is like an eggshell almost. It's so delicate and it just sits there like a little hat, and I love that you have to kind of find this little sitting point for it to wear it. And then the hollow itself is quite a technical bulbous hollow, and it just sits together really nice. There's something really organic about it. It's like nut-like or acorn-like or even vegetable or fruit or apple-like. There are so many nods here to nature and to my inspiration. The lacquer process was quite nice. It took 5 coats. I'm very new to lacquerware and to urushi methods, so I'm not going to show these processes until I know a bit more about them. My travels are taking me to Japan, and it's there that I want to learn more about the sophistication and the honor that it takes to work with urushi methods. Now I would like to test this cup. I have my little thermos just here, and I filled it with 100-degree water probably about 30 minutes ago, so it's probably dropped to 85 or 90, I would have thought by now. So I'm going to pour the water in, let it sit for a few minutes, panic, and then tip it out and hopefully just breathe, knowing that it passed its heat test. So not a single sign here of cracking or weeping. I'm confident that it's nicely sealed. The scalp is designed for a tea ceremony, and here is the lid just to protect it if you need to leave your seat for whatever reason. There we go. And just a final check before I take the water out. Yeah, absolutely fine. The cup itself is so hot. It's amazing how effective this lacquer is at sealing wood, especially ring porous wood like walnut. Cool, that will do nicely. So let's tip that out. Thank you so much for watching along. I gave a lot to that project, and I really hope that it resonates with you and you can feel that through this screen. Thank you all for your encouragement and your support. I hope to bring you many more videos. If you do have any questions or comments, do put them below. I do try and read and answer all of them where I can. Thanks again, everyone. See you again. Bye bye.